This is about my introduction to my partner to be, Ferial Garahi, a Persian girl from northwest Iran. Um, Met her at the Amnesty meeting in Boston in 1982, and I was so shocked when I met her. I couldn't believe someone could be that beautiful and smart. At the same time, it was she came up to me and said to me, "What's your job, Jack?" So I started telling her, the normal executive director job, reporting to the board, and she said, "That's not your job, Jack." And I said, and I'm looking at her. She's maybe 25 years old. She says, "No, that's not your job. Your job is to lower the pain level of the world, and if you can't do that job, you shouldn't have this job." And I'm looking at her. Oh, yeah. I was like, you said, it was so shocking to me. And I thought as quickly as I could, I was a bit overwhelmed by it all, really. But she had these huge, big eyes. And I stared for a minute, then I realized, this woman is right. This is what this job is about. She, she knows what it is. It should be to lower the pain level of the world. That's absolutely correct. So there was an immediate bonding between us. There's an automatic political agreement of some sort. Um, but that new influence in my life, meeting her, brought a bigger world for me because she knew the world in some unusual way that I never did, and it exposed me. Although I was pretty well, I've been to Africa and I traveled around Africa, and I'd learned a lot, but I still needed raising my consciousness, needed something else, and she provided that. And she's 25 years old, and I'm 40 some years old. So um, I was to speak at Harvard about a month later, maybe 2 weeks later, and it's the only time in my life I used my voice as kind of a weapon because I wanted to get a date with her. And so I didn't want to show off, you know, my ability as a speaker, but I did that night. That's the one and only time I've ever done that. Um, and I forget who was in the debate with me, but the poor guy got destroyed. I was I was animated to be good that night, and luckily I was, and we became friends, and that elevation of what she could offer me in terms of her interpretation of the world, her interpretation of human rights, and what my job was, and how important it was. She brought all that to me uh, practically within 2 times meeting her. We were together for the next 35 years, but it inspired my soul and changed my trajectory in that job totally different than it ever was before. And so I think in some ways, the richness of my life, of whatever richness is there, came from two people. My mother, who came out of the coal mines of Pennsylvania with a great sense of justice, and I somehow meet this young person in Boston who has that same sense of justice and determination to see that the poor succeed, and that if you bond yourself to the so-called losers of the world, those who are outside the power structure, those who are, the poor, if you bond with them, you're a different person. You're a different kind of leader. And I certainly, I hope I did some of that in my life because she gave me, both those women gave me that direction that we're here to use our freedom, to use our democracies for others, and to be mighty about it, not to be calm and deliberative, but to have some urgency and fire, and to go for it. When you see it, you actually go for it. So when people ask me why I did the Conspiracy of Hope across the United States, 6-city tour of the United States, why did I do that? and change really the trajectory of Amnesty as a small little chapter group into charity of choice in the United States. Why did I do that? It came from that conversation with Ariel that day, that my job was to lower the pain level of the world. And I never forgot that. And to this day, I thank her and my mother for raising my consciousness about justice and poor people. Thank you. That's hard to do.